My name is Milo Wilo, and I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Welcome back. I just hit 50 subs, and that means the world to me. Such a monumental thing that it's probably something that 99.9% of YouTube channels don't do. So I wanted to say thank you. Um, Today I have a little bit of a special video, and I have, of course, you guys know I'm the Element Fission guy. I'm trying to get into that. Well, I found another creator who I really like his videos. I think he does good content. I think he's got a good style, and just straight up felt like I could vibe with the guy. So we talked a little bit about maybe doing a collab, and I have Titus Gaming with me today. You want to introduce yourself, Titus?
What's going on, guys? It's Titus. Glad to be here, man. Glad you could have me on.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think for this video, I was wanting to do a little bit of like just some questions, kind of get to know Titus, and Titus has done one to help get to know me. So anybody that watches my content I think you can appreciate this dude, and if you want to go give him some likes and views and maybe some subs, it's like, I think we could scratch each other's backs, and at the same time just have a good ass time doing it. So hopefully you guys enjoy, and I'm gonna jump into some questions. So Titus,
Yes.
what what got you into Element Fission? What brings you here?
Yeah. So I basically just found Element Fission. There was another creator I really liked called J Gigs,
Hmm.
and I watched his videos. He was a raid content creator, similar to me, except he was, vastly more charming, entertaining, and all that stuff. And it kind of looked like he was at the same place I was, where he was getting kind of sick of raid and all the BS that Plarium has been pulling. And so when I saw him playing this game and actually looking like he was having fun, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. And so I was, already making content for raid, and so I just kept the ball rolling, but with Element Fission.
Hell yeah, yeah, and it's always nice to see a little game like this pop up and get your attention. And I guess, like you say, you started playing raid, and I took a quick look at your channel. It looks like you made quite a few other videos and stuff. So what is it that got you into content creation itself?
So, I mean, I've been on YouTube since YouTube was just like a video repository, right? People didn't even think about,
Right.
getting paid. Back in the day when you had people like Angry Video Game Nerd, you had the anime spliced with the music, the AMVs and stuff like that. I was, there for all of it, and I've always been fascinated. I've always I've always been a bit of a class clown, and I was fascinated with the idea that I could just kind of put myself out there and make content for people and just kind of see what they thought about it.
Right.
And
Hey,
so,
if you're a class clown, this is a big ass classroom. You know what I mean?
right, exactly. And so I kind of decided, I'd always told myself I would do it, and then I never did it, or I'd make a couple videos and then I'd stop. And one day I just kind of said, you know what, Titus, either do it or don't, man.
Right.
Stop talking about it and do it. And so I
Right.
did.
Exactly. So with your background as a content creator, and you kind of mentioned it once already with raid. Uh, what games did you come from?
Oh, I mean, growing up, I came from all sorts of games, right? Nintendo. I grew up a bit of a console player, and then I switched over to PC gaming. Right
Boo.
around 2009, 2010, I became a huge World of Warcraft addict.
Hell yeah.
And then kind of shifted in, and finally, before this, I was playing Raid and stuff like that. And so it was a pretty easy transition to Element Fission from Raid. It's
Right.
quite a bit different, but it's got the same bare bones, right?
Right. And being that they're kind of in the same vein and they're similar, the same and different. What do you think this game does better than Raid does poorly?
Oh, I mean, where do I get started? I mean, listen, Raid does some things very well, and in fact, well, we'll get into that a little bit later. But I think the one thing that shocked me was how you almost user friendly and casual the game felt. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm a hardcore gamer, and I will grind my life away playing video games. Like that's just what will happen. But coming into this game, the idea that if I want a 6-star in Element, when I get them to 6-star, I don't have to re-level them all the way from 1 to 60 again, or the fact that they don't really BS with your food, right? You get wisps,
Mhm.
you get XP capsules. The leveling process is super streamlined and super user friendly. The fact that they just let you multi-battle for free, you don't need like tokens or anything like that like we do in Raid. There was a lot of things that just made this game feel like in more than anything else, I think the game, at least for now, makes me feel like it respects my time
Right.
more
That
than Raid does.
yeah, that's a really good point. And I think a lot of Summoners War players that came over, it took us a while to realize that it respected our time. When you go into the to like make food and you can hit the button and it'll automatically do it. We didn't know about that. Like we had no idea that even existed because we were so used to what Summoners War had given us. And I think it's like kind of a breath of fresh air in that regard, where it's like at least they're not just trying to make themselves a Summoners War clone that's a cash grab, and they actually have put some thought into what's better for the player. And I feel like that means a lot for that dev player relationship. So with coming from Raid, is there anything you'd like to see come to this game that Raid already has? Like any sort of content you'd like to see?
Yeah, so I mean, Raid has quite a bit of content, being a game that's been around for 6 years. And there are things that I do enjoy about Raid that Element Fission doesn't really have. We have a lot of clan bosses. We have 3 of them at this point, and they're kind of hit or miss with the Raid community, depending on like how they get balanced and stuff. And this game has the Colossi, but they don't really have anything outside of that. And so I think I would like to see more Raid style like guild bosses where everybody comes together and has to use whatever keys, coins, whatever every day to try and, or every week, to kill bosses for fat loot.
Hell yeah. And I honestly think some of the guild stuff's a lot of fun too. Now I know this where this question is leading, and I'm just gonna say I have to be the voice of the community. So
Okay.
bear with me. What is your luckiest or most account changing, account breaking? What is your luckiest monster, your luckiest pull? And tell me why we should all be mad at you.
I feel like this has become a bit of a meme. And you know what? All I've got to say to the community is you guys have to understand, I need this. All right, you guys are far more experienced and far more skillful when it comes to figuring this stuff out. I needed these mods, but obviously people would be very confused or upset or just call me a liar if I didn't say it was Light Music Queen and Light Sorcerer.
Oh, it's rude. So when you say that you have monsters in Raid that you have the basic, the triangle, you got fire, you got grass, you got water. You kind of have that, and then you have another thing called void.
Yes.
Is void exclusive? Is that like does that mean as much to you guys as it does to us as a light dark? Because
Yes. Absolutely.
I hope it does, because it would be disrespectful if you couldn't understand a light dark after pulling 2 nat 5s.
Yeah,
But
no,
no.
I've thought about it, and yes, in Raid we have voids. And let me say that in my 3 years of playing Raid off and on, I've only pulled 1 void.
Oh wow, okay.
So
Right.
yeah, so it's not lost on me how lucky I am. I think the meme became the fact that I didn't react, because in my
Right.
video, I I literally say, oh, here comes my Nat 4. It didn't
Right.
even occur to me that I would be getting Nat 5s that fast.
That's so
and then
funny.
I pulled 2 almost back to back. And that's kind of become the meme of the community, I think. And I think it's even more of a meme when I'm also posting videos about struggling on heavy metal. And people are like, great, this is the guy who got Light Sorcerer and Light Music Queen.
Right.
Jesus.
No, I think they came to just a fantastic person. I think you deserve them. So being that you already have more than the community could ever want, and the community are going to be mad at you anyway, who do you want now?
You know, okay, I'm gonna temper it. I really would like a light Popo rider, because
Very good, you know.
I don't have. I feel like it's more reasonable to say I want a Nat 3. That's almost like memeable in and of itself. But it is an LD3, and my account doesn't have any super big like single target heavy hitters. And so I think Light Popo Rider would be at the top of that list.
Yeah, I think she's at the top of a lot of people's list, and for good reason. You know, they nerfed her, and she still is on everybody's team.
Yeah, 2 of them, right?
Right, exactly. Now, would you say that there's any content that you're looking forward to in the game that you haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah, I'm really interested to get stuck in with the Abyssal Dungeons, because going back to kind of how player friendly this game feels at the offset, there's a lot going on when it comes to essentially trying to craft the perfect piece of gear with, you know, things like rerolls, and you can like scrub your rolls so that if you want like 3 in 1, one stat or another, you know, we don't really have any of that in raid. Like, kind of in raid, what you see is what you get, and so that's the big hamster wheel for us.
Right,
is just grinding dungeons until our eyes bleed. And I think it'd be really interesting to get into the content where I can sit and try and craft my perfect speed set or my perfect,
absolutely,
echo set.
Yeah. I think those will be a lot of fun to get into. Of course, we're all in, you know, we're in heavy metal, we're in boxing, and we've not really gotten to the point where we can use those yet. And I think that's definitely something to look forward to. That was, they called them re-app stones, or I think they're reapplication, is what they called them in Summoner's War. And man, you get like 3 a month, it felt like, and then you just use as many as you could. But it definitely, and it helps that min-max. It gives you those little nice, the feel-good chemicals in your brain when you finally see that quad speed that was resistance, but you knew it should have been in speed the whole time.
Yep.
And as far as questions, that was my last question I had. And like I say, I appreciate everybody that's watched this video. Thanks for sticking through. Thanks for coming and checking out something that maybe wasn't exactly that you wanted or was your cup of tea. But I just genuinely can't say how thankful I am to even be at 50 subs. Some people might look at that and say, "Oh, you're nowhere." And it's like, no, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, and I appreciate y'all being here and supporting me. And if you'd like to, I could use a sub. He could use a sub. I'll leave a link in the description I'll leave a link to his channel. I'm sure he'll be in the comments too. If people come in and start probably talking trash about them 2 light LD5s. But
that's okay.
As a general rule, just thank you for stopping by, and thank you, Titus, for coming in. I really appreciate having somebody out there in the community that wanted to come do some stuff on relatively short notice. I think we got in and we banged it out. It's nice. It's nice to feel like you're part of something bigger than yourself, which is kind of like what we talked about with this game in general. So on that note, I think I'm gonna head out of here. My name is Milo Wilo, and I'll see you guys later.